As you join us now at Lancaster House, we're just waiting even now for President Carter to come down the steps out of Lancaster House, where the first day of these NATO talks have been held. The presidential car is just waiting to one side of this building. Police very much at the ready, the same kind of security that we've seen throughout this crucial weekend of talks in which President Carter has been so vitally involved. And here comes President Carter with the Prime Minister down the steps. And this has been a triumphant visit for President Carter. Not just on the whole issue of defense, but on much more than that, on cohesing. Mr. President, I wonder if we could have a word with you. We're live now on British television news. Mr. President, we're live on British television news now. I wonder if we could ask you what you see as the most crucial achievement of your period here.
Well, the most important to me has been the getting to know leaders of the very strong and important nations in the European area, to recognize the common sharing of the purpose of our societies, to re-strengthen our commitments to basic human freedoms, to democratic governments, to restore the confidence of our people in their own form of economic and political structure. This has been important. I've had a chance to learn a lot, and I've been thrilled at the genuine expression of friendship of the British people toward me and toward our country. And I think as far as NATO goes, I think there's a common sharing of commitment in our own country toward NATO, which was in danger, I think, 2 or 3 years ago. That's been restored. And along with this is a determination on the part of all those participants today to analyze the needs of NATO during the 1980s, to do an analysis of the relationships between the Western democracies and the Eastern communist countries, and also to share the benefits of NATO in economic terms. So all these things have been very helpful to us.
But as the average British viewer sees you lifting off to go home tonight, what do you want to leave them with? What sort of hopes out of this weekend would you like them to keep?
Well, I feel very certain about a few things. One is the undying and constant friendship of the United States and the United Kingdom, Great Britain and England in particular. Secondly, I have a complete faith in the future of our economic and social and political structures to survive. I have complete faith in this inner strength and determination of the people who live as free people. And I think that even though we have temporary disappointments and temporary hardships to bear, a realization of our sure future is very important for us all, and I've had mine strengthened.
Mr. President, there are problems inside NATO. The Secretary General mentioned those today. Do you think today's meeting has done anything to help to bind NATO together more closely?
Yes, I don't think there's any doubt about that. I think the sure feeling of NATO about the future was endangered, as I said a little earlier, by the equivocation of our own nation's support several years ago. That has passed, and now there is no opposition in our country of any importance to our full commitment in NATO.
I was really thinking of the problems between Greece and Turkey, for example.
Well, I've met this morning with the Prime Minister of Greece, Mr. Karamanlis, and also with the Prime Minister of Turkey, Mr. Demirel. They are both determined to resolve the differences between them in an amicable way. We've offered our good offices to them. I've had a delegate go there to represent me, Mr. Clark Clifford, in the first week or so of my own term of office. And I had lunch yesterday with both gentlemen. They were today rather. They were standing there discussing their problems in a very friendly fashion. And I think they both told me that their determination is to solve the problems in the Aegean Sea and also on Cyprus without war and as quickly as possible.
Gentlemen, while you're both here, can we ask one
You can ask me one question.
Right. President Carter has called really for a strengthening of the NATO alliance. How can that be reconciled with continual cuts in defence expenditure?
Well, by making ourselves more efficient in what we're doing. And that is the task that we've set our military commanders. I've just come back from Germany and seen the British forces there. They're very efficient and very able and very keen. And that is the way in which we shall reconcile it. Because, you see, we've been pressed to cut down our expenditure very much by the International Monetary Fund and others. And you must, therefore, if you're going to make cuts, and we've made very big cuts in our public expenditure, they must be fairly spread. I don't want to see any cuts at all made, but we've got to live within our means in that sense, and therefore we have made the minimum cuts here. I want to say one other thing, however, although you only asked me one question, about President Carter, if he'll allow me to, and he needn't listen. I think he's been like a breath of fresh air to the Western world. He's brought a vitality and a sense of conviction and dedication and confidence. And I think he's proving a true leader of the Western world. And I'm very happy indeed that he's been kind enough to spend so much time in our country. And so I agree with his assessment and his analysis of the things we've got to do. Yes, there are going to be a lot of difficulties, but when you have the great United States alongside you, as we have both in the economic field, in the political field and the security field, then I think you can feel pretty confident for the future of Britain and the future of Europe.
Gentlemen,
Thank you very much.
Goodbye.
I don't know yet.
Thanks very much. Thank you very much.
Don't thank me. You're absolutely right. Twice.
So sorry. I honestly, I'm sorry. We were live, and that's all I could do to. Now play your tape. Could you keep VTR rolling, please, Phil, in case we can get anything? Okay.
Well, that's not exactly according to plan, but I
Fantastic.
bet you're pleased.
Fantastic. Keep that. Thanks for your help.
Extended interview.
Fantastic.
I'm kidding you. He said they said they were not going to say
Maybe I can't
anything.
do it. We're busy, right? I'll come to you in a minute.
I'll go down the airport and see you.
Okay.
Go back, please, now.
Okay.